In 1994, late Tupac Shakur made mention that the A-Team shot him. He was misinformed. The truth about the A-Team.
Shakur and his manager were wounded and robbed Wednesday night in the lobby of a Manhattan recording studio. The rapper was shot in the hand, groin, and head.
I, Brain Glaze Gibbs, was never the leader of the A-Team. I, Brain Glaze Gibbs, was never a member of the A-Team. We all grew up in the East New York section, Cypress Project, and we had close ties. The truth about the A-Team. Haitian Jack mentioned that Little Rick Martin was the ringleader and founder of the A-Team. That is so far from the truth. Little Rick Martin went to jail in October of 1981. The A-Team was founded in the East New York section of Brooklyn in 1983. The head honcho, Mr. Damu. His right-hand man was the late Minister Gar Allah. His crew, Arif, Shabu, and several others, all 5%er, and they consider themselves the Allah team. No Jack, no Tut, no Rick. The main reason Damu put the team together, it was to stop several violent Jamaica drug organizations from taking over the neighborhood.
When them dudes put out the pistols to me, man, who was that, man? It was these fools from New York, this gang out there called A-Team. These fools was mad because I told them I wasn't fucking with them no more.
When the late Tupac Shakur made mention that the A-Team shot him in 1994, he was misinformed because by that period of time, the A-Team no longer exists. When you sit back and you hear all the story about the A-Team, a lot of this shit was not true. They did do their dirt. These are grown men now that have put their past behind and have moved on to bigger and better things. Boys and girls, men and women, Brain Glaze Gibbs, crime doesn't pay. Keep in mind, my story is an open book. I don't run, I don't hide for anything. Anything you want to know about me, go to Beyond Lucky, the Brain Glaze Gibbs story. Guys, girls, it's here straight from the street. Volume 1 is my new audiobook. It gives you a deeper insight of what was going down with myself and the like of Kelvin 50 Cent Martin, Howard Pappy Mason, Walter King Tut Johnson, Lou Harb, Kendu Riley. For under $4, order your audiobook on Apple iTunes or Amazon.com or Audible.com. My story is a true story of change and redemption. And how can we use this as a blueprint to prevent our kids, our children, from making that multi-billion-dollar prison system their permanent address? How do we get them to understand that crime don't pay? How do we get them to stop playing Grand Theft Auto Live with their life? Order the book, people. Share it. Share it with this younger generation, allowing them to know from Brain Glaze Gibbs himself, crime does not pay. Plenty of days, Tut and I will walk around in our community scheming on where are we going to get the next dollar from. Back then, he used to pack a .22 revolver, and I used to carry a .25 automatic in my hand with a small hand towel concealing my weapon and a pocket Bible in my back pocket. One day, as Tut and I was walking Linden Plaza, as a kid, I was always under the impression that Linden Plaza, aka the land, that was built in 1971, which consists of 1,525 apartments. The funny thing about Kendu and his crew, they eventually started making some real paper, but they was constantly being robbed It's like out of all the known hustler out in the street, him and his crew took the most losses when they didn't have to. During that period, Plaza had some original OG, some original gangster. One evening, it was a big basketball game going on, and everyone from Lou Harb to Missio, Tut, Alpo, Black Just, the who's who of the game, when a shootout erupted. I made sure that my Brooklyn folks got out of harm's way and back into their car safe and sound. During that period, Lou, Demisio, and a lot of guys from Brooklyn discovered a gold mine in DC and Baltimore, and they started setting up shop and was getting paid in full. I first met Howard Mason, aka Pappy, in 1985 in South Jamaica, Queens. I was meeting with Jug, and Pappy pulled up in his Jeep Wrangler with Lamont Lucas. I can remember when Calvin MacLeod, aka Allah Justice, and I was still close friends. He had gotten into a beef with some guys from the Fort Greene Farragut section at Albee Square Mall. Just so happened, I was strapped, and I pull out my .45 automatic, and the drama ended that day. I was there for 3 to 5 hours, playing dice and bullshitting around. I got to the point I was ready to go. I didn't know it at the time. From the time we was at the pawn shop, Fort Greene and Albany houses, 50 contacted Webb telling him Glaze is with me, and he is not wearing a bulletproof vest nor carrying a gun. We can get him.